Well. It's the end of the weekend for most of us, or at least the end of the weekend for you guys, I suppose. Welcome. Well, wait, is this. Oh, okay, I just forgot to turn on my stream. I was like, wait a minute, it's not showing my model. No, it is. It is. And hello! How are you doing, Mr. Brown? How are things? How has the weekend been for you all? It's been pretty okay for me, pretty good. I'm still as tired as per usual. I feel like every time I'm given the chance to just take a break or do something, I just nap for so many hours. Or well, I guess it's not really a nap then. My naps turn into full-on sleeps, and I just don't do anything but. Doing great, just one last day off tomorrow. Well, how are you planning on spending that, and how's your weekend been? I feel like anytime the weekend happens, it's almost as if one day is always dedicated to catching up on sleep, and then the other days are like chores or trying to get back into the rhythm of things. Hello, Helios. How's it going? How have you been? How's your weekend? Or how was your weekend? I was just talking about mine before we get into the main meat of the conversation today and whatnot. Gonna finally open up Stellar Blade and start playing it again. Start playing Stellar Blade. I think it was really fun, that game, actually. I never got around to finishing the New Game Plus, but I think I got like halfway through before I managed to give up on it, I suppose. I know there are a bunch more costumes and whatnot on the second playthrough, but a lot of them are reskins. So I was never really concerned by it. It's just that, I don't know, some part of me feels like I want to care about achievements. The other half doesn't care about the achievements. It was good, but a little too busy for a weekend IMO. How come? How come your weekend was a little bit busy? Anytime, I mean, okay, so I keep myself busy on weekends, or at least I try to keep myself busy on weekends by doing a whole bunch of different things, but I always try a lot, like a certain amount of time that I also sleep for. So I make sure that on my weekends, I sleep for at least, like, I don't know, 10 hours if I can help it. If I can sleep for 10 hours on the weekend, I'm doing good. Like a proper good sleep. Maybe if I want to go in for a nap as well, I can do that. And I just otherwise schedule around that. Like, if I'm going to assume that I'll either be up or wake up really early, I need at least 10 hours just to feel rejuvenated. But then also because, I don't know, chores take up so much of my energy. Like, on the weekend, I feel anything I do that requires energy is like twice as consuming. Whereas if I'm just doing it on weekdays, it's not nearly as consuming. I have the Nikke DLC for Stellar Blade, so I'll dress Eve in the Rappy outfit, I think, or even Anise after reading her current event. I completely forgot. Stellar Blade has so many good outfits, and just the crossover with Nikke was a lot of fun as well. I just think that's an interesting DLC, if anything, because of how different the settings are, though the collab event in Nikke with Stellar Blade was a lot of fun too. Well, train ride home, then whole day having a barbecue. I left at like 1 p.m, got back around 2 a.m. the next day. My gosh. Going out to eat with my mom, and today is a train ride back and then stuff. Gosh, that sounds packed. I know people often think like, oh, why don't you sleep when traveling, or why don't you do something when traveling so it doesn't feel as draining or as time-consuming, but I feel like it's underestimating just how tiring it is to actually travel, which sounds ironic because you're not actually doing much, but the issue is more so that whenever you are traveling, you are constantly thinking about what is going on and what's happening and, like, how you want to go about, or how you have to manage transfers, how you want to go about managing your day or planning for things when you get back. Like, whenever you get back from a vacation or doing something on the day of, you're always thinking of like, okay, what chores do I have when I get back? Have I locked the doors? Have I don't know, turned the stove off? Something like that. It's always that like slight paranoia, I think anyway, of leaving the house for too long, where you're just thinking to yourself, I'm not sure. I'm more in the camp of lazing around on weekends, like do nothing, maybe go for a short walk and that's it. I try to manage my time over the weekends and whatnot. Also, I figure we'll play a little bit of Peglin while we're discussing at the same time. Maybe there's no way to do a, well, maybe there is. Can I change how this looks? I want to add a subtitle on the screen so we know what we're discussing at the same time for people that are joining in, but I don't know if I can add some kind of filter to it so it adds a background. Like maybe I can add a background to it. Just very, very weird. Woo, Peglin! Yeah, right. Well, have to discuss AniManga Club today too. Yeah, we do! I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe we wait a little bit more, see if anyone shows up, and then that will determine when we start. I'll give people a little bit of time to join in, you know? I think otherwise we'll start in a bit. I'm just curious of how everyone's doing so far. Also, I guess to gather general thoughts and opinions or whatever, how did we feel the pacing was? Was it too much? Was it too little? Did you feel like you wanted to read more? I don't mind if people read more. The entire reason why I suggest that we do a certain amount, like 6 episodes or 13 chapters, is because some people read slowly, and that might mean that it takes a little bit longer, and the pacing of that can be a little bit difficult. So, and also, if you're intending to binge, I think an hour is like a fairly reasonable amount of time to spend on it. To be perfectly honest, only today I started watching. I binged those 6 episodes and made it just before stream. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I saw you post in the media channel yesterday, and I was like, oh, he's on episode like 2, I think? I don't know. I read the manga, and I was curious if you were gonna make it in time for that reason. Because it can be quite difficult, as said, with the pacing of it, to try and get to the current chapter or current episode or whatever. So I didn't want to, like, I don't know, push people too much to read or consume content when they weren't sure if it was, like, both something that they would enjoy, but also if it was going to be too much to consume all in one go. Because, mind you, if it had been 2 hours, not only would you have missed it, obviously, but you also might have felt like, oh, well, now it's really overwhelming to try and catch up again. So that's why I kind of feel like doing, or wait, there we go. My gosh, it's been too long. Hello, Virgil. It should have taken just 2 hours if I watched it in one go with no breaks, so it's fine. I think so, but I just want to make sure either way, you know? So for the manga, I forgot that it's a monthly release, so maybe 13 is a little much. Yeah, but that corresponds to about 6 episodes of the anime, which is half a season. Because I want to try do like a season over the course of 2 weeks, something like that. Which is why I'm thinking that a bi-weekly thing would be best for this, and then that gives me like a slot for bi-weekly AniManga Sundays, and then I can maybe decide if anything beyond that point is worth doing, like if we do it more frequently in such case. I bought my first Steam game. What did you buy, man? What was the first game? Halo the Master Chief Collection. Ooh, dude, the Master Chief Collection is great. I really feel like I should play it sometime. I've played a lot of Halo, actually. I think Halo is one of the only FPS franchises that I've ever had any confidence in. However, I'm not too good at FPS in general, so it probably won't help much, but despite that being one of my main, like, FPS games, I really love the Halo collection. I love, especially ODST is probably my favorite. But I also like 3 because I have a lot of fond memories of Halo 3. It's just such a great game overall. I feel like, if anything, there's the possibility for, like, a whole bunch of hijinks to happen and whatnot so when it comes to the Master Chief Collection. Because you've got all of the custom games, and I imagine that people have tried to recreate what the custom games looked like back in the day. Albeit, I don't know how how popular it is to play the games now. Because, to be fair, there's not really much of a Halo community to exist nowadays. I've never really played Halo. Halo is a really fun game, I think, or just a fun series in general. It's not so much focused on the actual combat of it. I mean, despite the irony of the name Combat Evolved. It's more so a focus on the custom games that I think is a lot of fun. It's just very arcadey for a first-person shooter, which means that you have a lot of different aspects to Halo that you don't find in other games. It's kind of like, oh, do you want to play Ghostbusters as a game mode, or do you want to play Hide and Seek as a game mode? And I thought that was so much fun. So I didn't really think of Halo as being a franchise for just strict, serious competition or FPS gameplay, and I think that's what made it really fun to me as well. For me, 7 minutes. 7 days is enough time. I was just busy, then tired to do anything than game and relax. I think it would be good now, but if it was manga, that would maybe take more time probably. I'm somewhat slow reader to stuff like VNs. I chose an amount of chapters that corresponded to the amount of episodes, and that's why I said 13, because approximately 13 chapters takes about 1.5 hours if you're reading at a consistent pace, which to me isn't that much time. It is like around the same time, maybe a bit shorter depending on the text in a chapter. So depending on how many panels or how many times the character is going to talk or blab on about something, that really depends, right? But I think it's a fairly reasonable amount given how much text there actually is in, well, at least this version or this manga that we've chosen, because we've chosen a largely drawing one. But I suppose since we've got now Virgil, Helios, and you, Mr. Brown, which I think is, let me double check. How much of the club does this create? We're missing Neat, who's in it. We're missing Wilson Wiz. I think Scythe was a part of it as well, and then I think Okami was a part of it as well. So we're missing 4 people, but we're at least half. So I think because we're half, we could probably begin discussions if you guys feel up for it. That reading pace does depend on the manga, though. If you have a standard weekly release, it's like 18 pages, while monthlies tend to have about 40 pages per chapter. Yeah, of course. It's why I say that roughly, because of the amount of text they have in them as well, it depends entirely on what they're going to be talking about. Because let's be real, with a monthly manga release and a weekly one, even if they have a different amount of pages for each one, the amount of like action or combat frames is highly variable as well. It's not like you're going to have a whole bunch of dialogue every single chapter. You're probably going to have a couple of panels which are just arts and so on. I never was in any book club, so this is new to me, but let's go. Let's go. We can do that then. I think I'm at least ready to talk about it. I don't have notes exactly, but I do have like some general stuff that I figured would be fun to talk about, or some of the things that stood out to me most, but we can take turns or whatever going over each part. Also, I still haven't figured out this thing. I wanted to add like a little subtitle discussing what it was or mentioning what it is we're discussing. So maybe we do now discussing blue period, and I can't do any kind of background on it without manually doing it, which is a little bit lame. Okay, there's no way to also center this in the middle of the screen. Okay, we'll do this. We don't really need to see the top. We can just add a black bar, I suppose. Let's add a source, and we can do a color source. Subtitle background. And we can do this. We can make the color a gray or something. It doesn't really matter. Boop, beep, boop. Oh, and then it does that. Let's see. I'll let you guys talk first, since I could talk about this all stream by myself, and it wouldn't be enough time. Blue Flavor, the anime. I can imagine that there's a lot to speak about when it comes to this, mainly because there are also so many chapters. I think the primary difference that's going to happen with this, I imagine, is that there are probably more topics to cover than not to. Oh gosh, this really isn't working out the way I want it to. I thought the height I could change. Let's do 250 pixels. This is so silly. Now discussing blue period, and it's just in like default plain text. Okay, whatever. We'll change this to something else. We'll change this to my font that I use for my graphics and so on. Now discussing, and then blue period. Whoa. Maybe that should work, and then we can change the subtitle background to be a little bit smaller. Okay. Does this work? Whoa, now discussing blue period. I don't know, this seems really scuffed, but maybe I'll try figure out UIs and layouts and everything later on. I could design like a full graphic for this, but in which case maybe I should at some point, right? But yeah, now discussing blue period. True. It's a little bit off center. I can't tell with OBS. Thanks, man. Let's do this. Let's move that there. Is this better? I can't tell. Wait. I think it's got a way for me to measure the distances between each. Okay, that should be centered. And then this is almost centered. Can I move this 1 pixel over? Okay, that's about as close as I can get. There we go. It's nearly pixel perfect. Okay, let's see. I didn't expect an art anime would be this interesting. Happy to hear that. It is one of my all-time top 3 after all. I think my opinion of it was that it's really in-depth or more entertaining than I thought it would be for, as Mr. Brown said, an arts anime or an arts manga. Because I read the manga version of it, and I do think that there are some scenes which go on a little bit long. Namely, whenever they're giving like a really detailed description of some parts about it, but I was surprised by how much depth there was to it nonetheless, because usually, or at least whenever I'm reading something like this, because it's hard to remember. I don't remember the exact reason why I stopped reading or watching Slice of Life, but it just never appealed to me for whatever reason, and I feel like Blue Period does a good job of trying to convey a lot of the themes and how they go about creating arts, which is, honestly, I'm not an artist, so a lot of these things were new to me. Just like Dessen and the sketch compositions and some of the theories or principles that they had to it, I wasn't familiar with like a majority of them. It was quite interesting to both learn about and read about in terms of what characters go through or what people go through when they decide or think of arts and how to express or represent themselves. I don't really see it as an arts manga / anime though. How come? Because Blue Period is largely about a guy going through art school or wanting to attend art school, at least in the 12 or 13 chapters that we read / however many episodes it was, 6 episodes, so half the season. And that was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Brown, because I didn't watch the anime. I think then that's like all the way up to the point where he's trying to enter art school, which was Geidai, I think it was the name of it. In which case, it was all about him studying art, trying to improve his art, learning about composition, and trying to break free from whatever notion or preconceived idea he had of arts in the first place. I'm not sure exactly how to characterize it because, of course, the character himself is struggling with it. To be fair, the names as well, I'm struggling to remember a lot of. I feel like a lot of the themes stuck with me more than the characters did. So the themes of the main character trying to figure out, oh, why is my art empty? Is my art empty? It feels like an imitation, etc. And so it's harder to remember the names than it is to continue with it. So to me, it feels more like a story about social and cultural norms and how to navigate them as you find yourself using arts as an example of an unconventional life path. Yes, I feel, however, that it's more of a motif to it, is it not? That it's about art, but it's a medium of using art to express something like this. That it's a path he intends to choose, although he doesn't need to, because he describes himself as a delinquent, and he never had to do art. And that was one of the reasons why the genius kid gets so frustrated with him, because he never had to do arts, he was never pushed into arts, and it's not the only thing he can do. So although he is a genius when it comes to arts, he's a genius because he believes that's the only thing he has left, or it's the only thing that he can do as a result of his skill set. So we don't really know his academic background otherwise, but I think rather than solely being about, so to speak, society and viewing oneself through the lens of whether or not you fit in with society or whatever it is you do, I still think it's by and large an art-centric manga. It just happens to use that as its method of approach instead. I don't know, how did you feel about it, Mr. Brown? Whenever you were reading, or sorry, whenever you were watching the anime, how did it come off to you? Like, what did you feel the medium was towards this? Did you feel that it was still by and large an arts manga or anime? I keep saying manga because it was just what I was reading, but still. Yeah, and that art teacher in his high school is probably by far my favorite character in this. Are you meaning the old lady art teacher, or do you mean the cram school art teacher? Because I think she eventually becomes his art teacher as well, either way. Like, he still has both of them. Again, I don't remember the names. Do you mean the gray hair one, or do you mean the black haired one that's like having the consulting or consultation with him? Yeah, the characters stood out more to me, to be honest, but I always like hearing stuff explained to me somewhat, like how Steins Gate explains the science stuff, even if I'm too stupid to get some of it normally. I don't think you're too stupid to it. I think there's a responsibility of both the author and the medium itself to attempt to convey what it is they're talking about, or the science behind why things work. So, if anything, I kind of feel like it's a bit of a fault of a show for not explaining how its system or how its world and rules work. No, the old lady in the school. Yeah, I really liked her as well. I just feel there weren't enough scenes of her. It feels, as said, very centric around the main protagonist and his exploration of the friends he makes in the arts club, which is a bit curious. I kind of wasn't expecting that to begin with, mostly because if I imagine a typical structure to any kind of manga or anime, you've got a couple of characters that you follow through with the entire way, and you've got the main character and whatnot, but what this one tends to do, maybe this is how slice of life works instead, because as said, I'm very used to traditional fantasy / isekai or grand adventures instead. I at least think that the way they went about it was way more individual focused instead. And so there's a lot more focus on just how they interact and on one person's story at a time, and then it leaves them to come back to them later, to then come back to someone else that you had left off previously. So I feel like there's a lot of that. I feel it was more a combo of his slice of life parts and also the struggle of learning to do good arts anime. Yeah, I think it was art anime for that reason as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm misconstruing it, or maybe I'm misinterpreting it. But I feel it was very much an arts anime, not in the sense that it's pretentious or it insists upon itself, so to speak, but the way it decides to convey both arts and the art world, or what it is people do when it regards their art. For instance, oh, I need to practice these composition techniques, these drawing techniques, etc. I think it does discuss a lot of those, but they're mediums or tools by which they discuss things in a greater whole. Yeah, I think they actually try to show you the world through the eyes of the MC. Yeah, because they never pull away. They never like move to a third person perspective whenever they're talking about another character or going into different parts of the main story. At least I think so. But everyone's surprisingly likable in some ways. I think it's a little bit odd, but I think there are some characters that stand out more to me than others. Others feel like just there because they can be, or are there because they exist. I'm trying to think of the girl who the girl's friend. So there's this one girl who only draws girls, and it was mentioned by the old lady teacher, the old lady art teacher, and then she has a couple of friends that show up every now and then that like grant passing by comments. Not to say that you need everything to be substantial or like representative of something, but I feel like there are instances where there are just characters that don't really do much. So it's perfect for people like me who tend to self-insert. That's fair. I want to say that whenever I read it, I don't self-insert because I'm looking at it through a lens of an observer, which to me feels like, oh, I can kind of understand why he's doing X or Y even if I wouldn't do X or Y, but I would never think to myself, I would or should have done X or Y in this situation. I more so see it as, oh, he's doing this, I guess I'll follow along for now. I don't know how to put it, but whenever I play an RPG, for instance, I don't ever think this character is one-to-one me. It's just if I put myself... It's like empathizing, I suppose. You just put yourself in the mindset of and try to assume whether or not it's something that would be feasible or likely that you could have possibly potentially done. Yeah, they're basically minor art club members that don't really contribute to the story. Yeah, I'm just tacking on the point that I think those will always or inevitably exist. So I don't know if I would always say that every character contributes something, but it's still nice to have a whole cast of characters because you can always develop or flesh them out eventually. I think the one unfortunate side, maybe it's because we're not far enough yet into the manga, is just how there isn't really much about his main group of friends. We learned that they like football, and then he finds it, like, half meaningless, so to speak. But it feels a little bit weird that we haven't heard more of his friends, or more of his original friend group and what they do and how they get along with each other, etc. At least I think so. I think it would be really nice to learn more about them and why they decided to become friends in the first place. Because even though the main character is a delinquent, so to speak, I mean, obviously he gets high grades and whatnot, it feels like there might want to be more describing or talking about them as characters and what they do. I don't really think that's weird in this case. I don't think it's weird either. I'm just more so stating that it's just the case as is. I think it's the normal. I would say, and my point was to provide contrast that this happens often, but the fact that they expound upon many of the different characters to the extent that they do is quite nice. I'm saying, in general, they discuss more about the characters that do exist in context to the story than they do not. And I'm just citing them as an example of we haven't really heard much about them, or they don't really contribute much now. Maybe eventually, I don't know, they'll contribute more to the story. As to compare with, say, for instance, I'm gonna pull generic isekai slop, but you have a character introduced and then you don't really see or hear much of them later on. They just exist for that moment and not to be developed on or expounded upon later. So I think calling him a delinquent is a giant stretch. Them calling him a delinquent is a giant stretch. Very much so, but I think it's entirely because of just how he looks. It's not necessarily because of, what's it called? It's not necessarily because he is a delinquent in actuality. So, if anything, I think it's more interesting that he's described as a delinquent and then betrays expectations of that. So, I like it, at least. I think it's a fun way of doing it. I think his friends are more an illustration of the concept of the original world in a hero's journey kind of way, you know what I mean? I'm thinking of it in context of, like, if you have or create a metaphorical separation between him and everyone or everything else, that, it makes sense. His friends are what he had before versus what he has now. In which case, I can agree with that. I also think, to an extent, if you analyze something like this and you think of it through the lens of, like, oh, well, there has to be greater meaning, you might derive meaning where there is none. I'm thinking of this in, like, gosh, what did my English teachers tell me all those years ago, you know, when they were trying to convince me that actually there's greater meaning to be found here and the color of the drapes matter a lot. But the irony is that I think a lot in this case has to do with how they display and demonstrate a lot of the different aspects to the story or characters' personalities by what they draw and how they draw. Like the girl who always compares herself with her sister, and as a result always gets told, oh wow, your art is so similar to your sister's, or this is not original. I don't know what the exact words were, but he eventually not admits, because he never professed to it to begin with, that, oh, I never saw your art as being the exact same as your sister's anyway. I always saw that there was some kind of difference between your art and hers, which makes way more sense in context of, oh, these are the flaws to each of these characters, and that's how they decide to express it, through the art that they create. But you'll also see a bit more of them later. I don't want to spoil anything, but there really is a nice scene showing the MC being somewhat of a catalyst for his friends later. I do really want to see more of his friends, just like throughout the story, because I feel like them, and if we're going by virtue of you using the oh, they're a metaphor for the real world or the other world, etc., that he left to come to, as in he left his, not delinquency, but his sports world friends to go into the art world. If we're going through that, I would really like to see more of their interactions with him, because it feels like for the first 13 chapters, he just kind of forgets them. Like, they exist, he still maybe eats lunch with them, but they don't really interact a whole lot, and it feels like it's hard to see what kind of impact or depth they had on each other if you don't get to see more of their interactions. And I feel like that's a little bit of a shame, because why did they become such great friends in the first place? He even laments during the first couple of scenes, like, oh, I wonder why I'm gathered around here watching football or whatever for players I don't empathize with, and whatever. It depends on the translation that you go with, obviously. If you read an EN translation, it'll say something like that, but trying to convey the meanings generally, he tends to veer on the side of, like, oh, I don't know why I'm here, in the sense of, I don't know why I'm doing this specifically. Like, he could be doing anything else with his friends and it would be the same outcome ultimately. So I think it was, or it would be interesting if we could get more insight into why he's friends with them, in addition to how they begin to see him after his art. Because they also kind of speculate, like, oh man, he must be working so hard to become a better artist and whatnot. But at the same time, they don't really show any of his interactions with them to know whether or not they actually believe that to be the case. They only ever say, like, well, he's busy all the time, and he's not really hanging out with us anymore. And it's like one scene where he's depressed about his art being not insulted, but told, oh, you're just repeating the exact same thing as last time. And then he's like completely crushed, and they're like, oh man, he must have gotten dumped. So then it doesn't really show that they even know what's going on with him at all. But I also never felt they were great friends in the first place. To me, it seemed like they just happened to be in the same class, and they had all of those delinquent tendencies. Possibly. But as said, I don't know if that's the case or not, because there's nothing really proving the contrary or proving that. It feels like you're kind of left to guess how they became friends. I think one of the points that stood out to me a whole lot, and one of the points that I really liked about some of the chapters where he's deciding, oh, I've got to admit eventually to my parents that I want to be attending cram school. I think what I really liked about that scene was the interaction between him and his mother. And I don't think there are enough scenes actually of him interacting with his mother or his parents, because he feared being able to confess to them that he wanted to become an artist, but there wasn't really a whole lot of scenes beyond that. There was the one where she's like, please rely on me more, which I found really heartfelt. I really liked that scene a lot. Where the whole reason why she was doing it, and he was like, oh, art gave me the ability to have insight into why it is you always pick out the worst cuts of meat, or that you're trying to savor this flavor by having fish one day, meat one day, picking out the worst parts and giving us the best ones, etc., and watching you cook, and then him drawing a picture of that and handing it to her as like a heartfelt gesture. I found that to be really nice. I found those scenes to be really good. And a part of me wishes that I wish I could see that with his original friend group. Like, why does he care so much about them, and why do they care so much about him? But at the same time, they also don't seem to. I think it was just like one of the best scenes. I think that whole like context to why his mother does what it does, or what she does, but then one of the sad things I feel is that I wish there was more. I wish there was more of that so that I could really like revel in the sadness of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me wanting more sad plot developments to go on about it. But I think it would have been so nice if we could have more scenes like that, or more development on it. Not that it has to linger on the exact same scene, but like, when is he going to confront the dad? When is he going to confront his friends? Maybe we get some more of that in future parts. But you just want to cry a lot? I do. I think if maybe it's a bias towards me and anything that's slice of life, but if I enjoy slice of life, it's because I really enjoy there being a lot of like drama. Like, oh, I want to be able to apply to art school, but I don't know how to confess to my parents that art school is what I want to do, because we don't have a lot of money, and it's going to be hard to admit to them, like, oh, this might just, like, cost, what was it, 2 million yen a year for some of the schools. And they were like, oh, I don't know how we're going to afford this. We need to take on another part-time job. But they just kind of glossed over the chat, or the, like, turmoil of the parents in that. I don't know. I feel like it became very focused on his art journey rather than, oh, well, that just worked out, you know? Like, there was a whole lot to it that I think could have had even more happen. To me, a lot of the scenes felt a lot more impactful in the anime. Maybe. It could also be... See, this is one of the things that's really difficult about reading manga as well, because how am I meant to fully gauge, like, how long I'm meant to linger on a singular panel? Like, how am I meant to know that this is how long I'm meant to spend, and I'm meant to, I don't know, look at the scene for this long to get this impression and do this, etc., right? I feel like reading is really variable when it comes to it, so it could be that because I'm a fast reader, and even though I'm enjoying the arts, or I feel like I'm enjoying and savoring the arts, maybe I'm reading through some of the parts too fast. I really got into that a lot, yeah. I really get that a lot, though, yeah. Wanting more emotional cry-inducing scenes, yeah. It's why I love Nikkei. I gotta agree. I think Nikkei, because even though Nikkei has, like, a lot of action moments and whatnot, the moments that you do get interacting with the characters and with the story and in the world itself, like with Chatterbox or some of the heretics and with Marion / Modernia, I think there are a whole bunch of really cool scenes that never even had to be contextualized in terms of combat. Like, you can make a lot of very strong, emotionally demanding scenes. I would say Shinsekai Yori, or From the New World, is really good with this as well, because of a lot of it is dependent on interpersonal drama as they come to figure out their relationship with the world and each other. That's a whole lot of the sadness and guilt and whatnot comes from that, at least even in the beginning, but also you have, like, action scenes to supplement it. I think Blue Period would maybe do well, at least more so personally, if they had more scenes that, like, really went into agony and turmoil and like the depression of characters, because that genius kid, only knowing insofar as like, oh, he kind of hates the main character because he's just naturally gifted, he spends so much time, or he has everything he could hope for, like a silver spoon in his mouth. I really want to know more of why he feels that way, or why he's so maybe vindictive. For comparison, I can read the manga in one go, no issues, but watching the anime version, there are a bunch of scenes that hit so close to home for me that I need to stop mid-episode and do something else for like 20 to 30 minutes. I think, even for me, just give me a sec to drink some tea. I think even for me, that maybe I'm a bit of an anomaly whenever it comes to this. I don't know, maybe you guys feel differently, or at least Helios is unique in this chat for this, but I never stop. I think even as soon as I watch something really sad, or as soon as I see something that's like upsetting in an anime, something that I don't like or whatever, even if it makes me cringe or makes me feel like, ugh, I really don't like that, I'll still keep watching it. And even as I'm sobbing, I'll continue to consume the episode or feel miserable about it for like the entire time. So I don't feel like it's much of an issue in that sense, to me anyway. I would at least want maybe even more scenes, as said, just focused entirely around the misery of people. Like when we got to that one girl who was always comparing herself with her sister, I really liked the scene where she was half mocking or saying, oh, at least I know there's hope for me, whenever she was looking down at the people who had failed the examination. And she was like, oh, well, at least there's hope for me because I'm not the one down there. But then next day, or maybe next day, she's crying and she says, well, it was so pathetic of me to think that. But he reassures her that sometimes it is fine to look at others and say, well, maybe it's not so hopeless for me if others are experiencing a similar kind of misery that I am. But it's also not your fault to be judged by the fact that your art is seemingly similar to your sister's, even though I don't think it is, as he speaks it. It's not about sad or cringe, it's about seeing yourself in something so much that you feel called out in a way. I think maybe I attribute that to being very similar to being sad or cringe, because in terms of empathy, whenever I think of a show and how it decides to depict a character or a situation in which a character is like embarrassed or something happens, like let's say a character's parent dies or whatever, and let's say I were to see myself in that, I think that's more of an empathy thing. So even if something has or hasn't happened to me, I probably would continue to watch it like all the way through. So it's not about the emotion itself, it's more about, if I can see myself in a position of it, it doesn't make me have to step away, in the sense that I still consume it because I want more of it. Because I know, at least to me, that it's a role play, I suppose. So like with RPGs, if it's a really sad scene, I'm still pushing myself to play through it. I think the best way I can kind of describe it is, when I'm playing horror games, I'm never inserting myself into the situation. No matter how afraid I feel, I still always feel afraid playing horror games because it's so difficult to get through. However, the primary difference being that despite all of that, I'm still playing through it, and I still won't take a break from it, because it's just a fleeting feeling that the game is making me feel, rather than something I actually experience. I don't know how to contextualize this in the exact same way. Like, if I'm playing Resident Evil 2 and the liquor scares me, then I'm like, okay, that was terrifying, but I can still go on afterwards, right? And if something is like really sad, like let's say I'm playing through The Walking Dead or whatever, the Telltale one, or I don't know, the nth time, and I feel really sad about whatever happens to Lee or Clementine, I still don't project it and feel to myself, oh, this could have happened to me, etc. I just more so continue because I relate in terms of feeling empathy, but I don't relate in terms of feeling like maybe I should take a moment to myself for it. Oh, and I say do something else, but I always end up just getting up, pacing pacing up and down the room, talking to myself, processing what I just saw. What do you feel like your internal monologue becomes whenever you do that? Do you feel like you go over what things they are specifically that happened in the story, or how do you internally process it, do you think, Helios? Most of the time, I need a break, or watching an anime / reading a manga would tire me mentally unless the anime really sucks me in. How did you feel about Blue Period then? Do you feel like it was sucking you in terms of like making you feel, I guess, emotionally enveloped? Or do you feel like it wasn't doing that to the extent to which you would walk away from it? So, for instance, or as a question to this, did you feel like the mom scene, despite how sad it was, made you had to take a step back and contemplate your thoughts? Or do you feel like it was just, yeah, it's whatever? Or how did you process it then, Mr. Brown? I'm very curious, because I thought it was sad. It made me tear up, and I really liked that scene. It was probably my favorite scene by far, besides the girl breaking down about being compared to her sister and saying she wasn't worthy or whatever. I think that scene was really good. But I didn't have to, like, process it more than, oh, that is a really heartfelt scene, and I really feel for the characters. It's not necessarily something that I relate to, but it is a situation that I could put myself in, if it so came to that. So, it's less about what I'm processing and more about how I'm feeling, and because I know it's a feeling, I don't feel the need to process it, per se. Or, how do you guys feel about it? I think I'm more excited to see if he gets in or not. I really want to know if he gets into the art academy, and a part of me kind of hopes he might not. If he doesn't get into the art academy, that would be really interesting, because I feel like it would show so many different struggles, like, oh, he's tried this much and then he's got the futility of it, because isn't he the kind of guy that has, for the large part, managed to pass basically every single test with really high grades? And even though he's studied this hard or this much, you kind of roots for him in the sense that he's coming to understand arts and what it means to produce arts. But I also feel like, well, maybe he should fail, because then arts would become his only option, and then he might come to understand that that genius boy with his whole, like, oh, everything comes down to this for me. I have no choice but to succeed. So I tend to project what I saw onto my life, mostly some scenario in the past, then play it out as if I acted / behaved more similar to what I saw in the anime / manga, rather than what I actually did. That's fair. But then whenever you process or talk about it to yourself, do you feel like there's a difference in how you rationalize, or not convince yourself, because I don't want to use that, but do you feel there's a difference whenever you watch, for instance, the mother crying scene, and you think to yourself, okay, if I were to put myself in the shoes of that, and then you pace around the room and you think, or play out the entire scenario in your head, like, what is the step-by-step that you do in that case to process it, or go over and, I don't want to call it grieve / lament, because as you said, it's projecting it onto yourself and not something that you actually underwent to yourself. Do you then feel like you have an outline or a general idea of how you come to terms with it, with those emotions? It wasn't really sucking me in as maybe something like Steins Gate would, for example, but it made me want to watch more because it was interesting to me, like I was kind of learning with the MC. And no, the mom scene just made me tear up and think of my own mom and appreciating her, but I continued watching again while clearing my eyes. I feel the same way. Yeah, it was a lot of, like, I really loved this scene. I really love how the characters express themselves here. And that was mostly it in that sense. I teared up, and I wanted to continue reading a bit more. It just wasn't like, Orb start with 5 worth of damage? Okay, we'll do this one. Peg Bag is really good. It was more so, I think to myself, this was a really good scene. I'd love more scenes like this. And that was That was the extent of it. It feels really shallow describing it like that, but this isn't to like downplay it. It's more like I'm seeing a highlights of what I remember most, because again, it's been like a day or two since I last read the chapter, and so I'm basically picking apart all of the scenes that stood out the most to me, and these are the ones that really stick out. I think as well, because you mentioned to me at one point during a previous stream, Helios, that Blue Period is about a period in... Oh, was it Leonardo da Vinci's life where he was drawing everything with a blue hue because of how he saw the world? And I think that was really cool. I think that was really, really fun, and I kind of wish there were more arts motifs like that throughout the manga. Again, I don't know what the show is like, but did they have a lot of those literally feeling blue dubba-dee-dubba-die moments, Mr. Brown? I'm assuming, and the reason why I ask Mr. Brown is because, I don't know, Helios, did you last watch it recently then along with the AniManga Club together with us, or are you going based off of your recollection and memories for it? That's one thing that I'd be curious about. Either way, I still enjoyed it. I think one of my main grievances now is, in general, it is quite difficult for me to get into something initially. So it feels like I struggled a bit to enjoy Blue Period until it got to some of those scenes, and I think that's one of the things that kind of motivated me to continue on with it. So I literally replay all the conversations and interactions based on the perspective of the anime/manga provided, which more or less end up producing an epiphany on why people in my life might have acted the way they did. Oh, okay. So I don't want to mischaracterize this, so it's more of like an internal self-reflection of you role-playing yourself in as the character, or not role-playing, yeah, you role-playing yourself in the situation of that character, trying to figure out whether or not you can project it onto some point in your life that makes sense for where it could be. Like, do you... Okay, maybe this is too much of a personal question. If you take an example of, let's say, a manga where some guy's dog dies, and you then project it onto your own life, do you then take the scene of, let's say that, and let's say you had a pet bird, and your pet bird eventually died, do you then project the scene of that onto you as a way to try and come to terms with or process how that happened or what happened as a result of it? I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't pay attention for a bit. Oh, I was talking a little bit about how there was this in the manga, and as well as the title of the show/manga is Blue Period, which is referencing Da Vinci and the period in his life where he drew everything with a blue hue. In the manga, they have a couple of scenes where they very explicitly, very directly, have just a bunch of blue drawn manga panels and colored in scenes or shots with that. Is there anything like that in the anime? Or is it just, oh yeah, here's it in plain color? As said, I never watched the anime. I just immediately started with the manga, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sit with this, and I'm gonna spend like the next 1 to 2 hours, depending on how much time it takes me. And that's kind of like why I settled with it. At first, I was thinking maybe I should watch the anime because it would be more easy to consume it. But I think if I'm doing the AniManga Club, I kind of want to read more because I've been on such an anime/series binge that it's it's like actively pulling me away from my urge to want to read. So I think I need to keep it up a little bit more. No, there wasn't a lot of those blue scenes. That feels unfortunate. Do you think there was a lot of, like, artistic expression, though, with the animation, maybe, or, like, how they framed some things? Because I think that's one of the things that kind of surprised me, right? Was, despite it being very much of an art manga and, like, having a lot of art influences, because obviously that's, like, the point, they discuss a lot of how the art is and what, or why things are drawn the way they are. There aren't a lot of, like, very artsy scenes, per se. It just sometimes mentioned the one blue drawing he made for the first time. Oh. Wait, the one blue... Okay, this is going to be really difficult trying to piece together which one you're talking about, because now that I'm thinking about it, the entire manga, except for the first couple of opening panels and whatnot, those are all in black and white. I don't know which one is blue. Despite the name, I do not know which one you're referring to, because he draws like 30 different pieces and all of them are in black and white because it's a manga. Oh, the very first picture that he made. Oh, the one where he was drawing the goat skull? Is that it? And then he was like trying to figure out, oh, so these are some of the tools that I can be using to draw this, and how he saw some of them use the paint scraper or whatever. So yeah, scenes are more impactful to me based on how accurately they fit a scenario that happened to/around me in my past, since I still remember more or less everything back to when I was 3. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I just think to myself, when it comes to attributing how I see a manga and how I see, or even an anime, some of the emotional scenes to it, I wonder, should I attribute this, or should I attempt to project it onto myself? But I never really do. I've always taken like a 1 degree of separation when it comes to something that is more of a role play, so to speak. And that's why I think to myself like, oh, okay, I don't need to do that, and therefore I don't necessarily or have to or do relate in any way. So no, he drew Shibuya oh yes, Shibuya early morning. Okay, now I recall. In the manga, he says, doesn't Shibuya in the morning kind of felt nice? The manga translation is at fault here. In the Japanese original, as far as I know, and the anime translation, he says, doesn't Shibuya in the early morning feel kind of blue? Maybe I'm reading the right one, but he does say that in the manga. Also, as a heads up, we've got ad breaks in 30 seconds, so I don't want you to lose out on conversation, Helios. So we'll maybe pause for a little bit of a moment here. We'll see. And oh, in the one he said nice. No, I read one 2 days ago or whatever where he was saying that. So I think maybe it just depends on the translation team or whatever, but I read it as Shibuya feels kind of blue, and then they were like, oh, what do you mean by blue? Well, it just feels blue. And then he began like describing what it meant for something to be blue to him. But yeah, we've got ads coming up. Coming up next, we've got ads. I'll just play a little bit of Peglin in the meanwhile while we wait for the ads and everything to run their course. Wasn't Virgil a part of the AniManga club? I think he's dipped. Yeah, he's a part of the AniManga club, and he dipped. Yeah, feel free to get a drink. It'll be a little bit. I don't know why Twitch insists on saying running ad, and then it just doesn't run the ad. Like, what am I meant to do in that case? I can't start it manually. I can't do anything about it. Okay, here we go. Now it's running the ads. Yeah, I'm thinking like, if we can try get more people to join this, I think would be a lot of fun. But also I'm curious where everyone else is. Maybe I need to prepare more of a schedule, though I do stream on exactly the same time every single day. Maybe I just need to make one last schedule and then say, hey guys, I'm basically preparing a permanent schedule that this is what I'm going to follow through with every single day, because it's kind of crazy. So many guys haven't shown up, or some of the guys haven't shown up, just in general. I mean, we're 7, I think, in the AniManga club. I know Neat would have joined, but she doesn't really like Slice of Life either, so she didn't bother to read it. So we'll have to see at that point, or to that extent, if we get more people joining for other anime/manga. One of the things we have to do as well, or eventually, is we're going to start a vote on whether or not we continue or move to something else. And if so, we're going to take suggestions from the AniManga channel. to figure out. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if we continue or do not continue with it. But I hope we all agree to continue finishing this at least, you know? So I don't know, how do you guys feel? Oh wait, no, it would just be you, Mr. Brown. How do you feel, Mr. Brown? How do you feel about it? Also, I'm scrolling through the what's it called? I'm scrolling through the server. We've got a new person that joined, but I'm kind of worried that this is a bot. They took both of the roles, which is fine, but they how are they a VTuber if they've never once streamed? That's quite curious. Yeah, I want to continue. We'll have to see what people vote on. I do wonder if we'll continue. How many seasons of Blue Period is there? Blue Period seasons. Because there are a whole bunch of chapters, but is there only one? Oh, it never got a second season. Oh. Yeah, I guess we will have to pick something directly after this then. That's curious then. I thought Blue Period would have gotten a second season considering how many whatchamacallits, how many chapters it has, you know? That's quite surprising. Genuinely. I thought it would have more. Oh well. What are we thinking so far? I'm wondering if I should try resuggest a my Mushishi suggestion, or if I should pick something that just isn't slice of life. Wowie. Right? I don't know, there's a whole bunch. I think Blue Period is a Netflix production. Wait, what? Really? It's a no. Wait. It is, wait. What? Is Blue Period a Netflix original? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had no clue. That is so curious. So unfortunately, it only has 12 episodes. I had no clue. I thought there was more to it. That's so surprising. Netflix did that? Oh, okay. I'm genuinely shocked. I was like, huh. Usually, anytime I hear about Netflix having like some kind of production or whatever, like, oh yeah, they're featuring this anime, it's some kind of live action, only lasts for one season, and it's some unpopular anime or anime/manga that just never really got a reboot or a chance, especially since the manga has like 80 chapters so far. Yeah, but even... Or do you mean, yes, I agree because there are 80 chapters, or do you mean like, oh, it only has 80 chapters? I'm unsure. Hard to gather tone from it. But I feel like 80 chapters is plenty to have a couple of seasons on, right? Then again, I suppose manga to anime production is very, very costly. I just think like, my gosh, it's 80 chapters, so we have about 25, 26 chapters for a singular season, which is quite a bit. So we've got like plenty of material to work with, I think. Yeah, I agree. 80 chapters, why not have another season? Exactly. That seems crazy to me. Because I was just talking about, I don't know if you were here during the ad break, but I was just quickly like skimming over some of what we said. It feels very surprising to me that there wouldn't be a second season, because in that case we're going to have to vote for something for next week, Sunday, anyway, or this upcoming Sunday, because we'll discuss Blue Period, the last 6 episodes and whatnot, but then we have to pick something new which has an anime that people can tag along with. And I don't think we'll limit ourselves to just a slice of life in that case, but we'll see how it goes then. I at least think we should continue on with Blue Period for now and see what we get into later, maybe. I at least am curious about suggesting either something Fate or Shinsekai Yori again. So since you like the scene with the mom so much, I have a suggestion that has more of those scenes and does them even better. I'm very curious now which one is that, but it's a romance. If it's a romance that has like very cute girls, then I don't mind. Then I absolutely do not mind. I very much am fond of romance stories if I really like the characters. If I really like the characters, it does not matter what it is, I will probably enjoy it to an extent. Because I don't want to say that I'll enjoy them like 100% because I can never be sure to 100%. I just think when it concerns like romance, I think maybe that's where I begin to self-insert. I begin to consider like, would I like the character though? If I like the character, that's when a romance is based. If I don't like the character, that's when the romance is cringe. So that entirely determines my view on romance whenever I read it. That's why I'm kind of fond of like Rosario Vampire, because I actually like the characters in it. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. I feel like I recognize this name. Let's see if we can get some kind of synopsis of this. I really hate how the about section, whenever you Google something, does not tell you what it's about. Let's see. The plot. Chidori Public High School and Kikyo Private Academy Girls High School are next to each other with contrasting reputations. Chidori enrolls lower-class delinquent boys, and Kikyo is a prestigious academy enrolling honorable, noble girls. The schools have a long-standing rivalry. I see. Chidori student Rintaro attends to customer waguri at his family's bakery. He is surprised that Kaoru... Oh my gosh. Sees a kindness, later saves them from harassment by delinquents. Okay. It's been quite viral since a few months ago. Really? Viral since a few months ago. It's got 22 volumes. Oh my goodness. That's very long running. I was thinking to myself, if I'd ever recommend a romance, I would probably say Spice and Wolf. I love Spice and Wolf. That's probably one that I have to go back to again because it reminds me so much of when I first got into anime. Such an amazing series, just overall. But I'll write this one down. I don't know if we want to try do genres for every single recommendation, because I think if we cycle through genres, then everyone kind of gets what they want, inevitably. And I think that's a fun way of going about it, because, like, I know some people might not enjoy isekai or fantasy as much, but giving it a chance, I think, is worth it, as I am as well with Slice of Life, right? Like, I probably never would have read Blue Period if it weren't for you voting for it and recommending it in the first place, right? So I think maybe we do, like, a theme each time, and maybe we decide on it here. People who don't attend will just have to suck it up. So we'll vote on some kind of theme. Hello, Silent Scythe! Welcome! Yeah, we can do genre-specific votes. I absolutely agree. I think, oh, wait, Silent Scythe, you're in the AniManga club, right? Oh, man. You've missed some of it, I think. Let's see. Yeah, you are. What are we talking about? Yeah, Blue Period. We've got it on the big screen as well. We were just discussing, like, different parts about it and a little bit of the future for the AniManga Club, because it's a little bit of lamenting, right, that Blue Period only has one season despite the 80 or so chapters that it has for its manga, since it's apparently produced by Netflix, which was not what I was expecting whatsoever. So we are finishing Blue Period next Sunday. That's coming up, which means that we have to do a vote on something else, and therefore I was thinking maybe we do genre-specific votes, since that seems like it makes the most sense, potentially. At least I think so. Genre-specific votes so that we can try get through a little bit of what everyone is hoping to have. Like, I want isekai, maybe someone wants action, maybe someone wants historical, and then I think that, like, plays in favor of everyone, right? So I don't see why not doing something like that. Like, as said, maybe before you joined, I would have never have picked Slice of Life. No offense, but I never would have picked Slice of Life if it weren't for you guys suggesting it, and I probably never would have found one that I enjoyed to an extent as I am now, like with this one, if it weren't for that. So even then, I think maybe it would be a lot of fun if everyone else could also have to pick up and think, oh, you know what? This time I will read one of Auger's isekais that he recommends me. Slice of life? Yeah, slice of life. Did you watch Blue Period? For this week's AniManga club? So, new words in each sentence. So we had slice of life. We should first decide which genre, and then everyone can suggest something within that genre. I think so. I think, ooh, everyone loves a little bit of gambling, right? Everyone loves a little bit of wheels. Let's see. Wheel spinner online. Can we do one for, can we do one for genres? Let's see. So we've got these. Okay. We've got fantasy. We've got action. We don't want to do slice of life this time, so we'll skip that one. So let's find list of common genres. But did you manage to read the first 13 chapters or watch the first 6 episodes of Blue Period, Silent Scythe? It's no problem if you haven't. Add horror? Sure. Horror we can add. I'm actually okay with horror in anything that's like movies, series, etc. It's just very difficult otherwise whenever I'm playing it, so... we can do romance as well. Oh, oop. Oh man, I deleted the list by accident. Okay. Romance, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, thriller. There's crime as well, psychological. Let's see what you guys said. No, I didn't. It's okay, man. You've got one more week to catch up on it, because then we're actually gonna be done. So if you don't finish it by then yeah, you missed it. But it's fine if people want to like sit out different rounds for it. I'm just I don't want to say sad for you not doing it, but like sad that you might feel left out if that's the case, you know? Like if you want to be a part of more of the discussions, I would love it. The more people who can join the AniManga club and to feel like, oh man, finally we're getting to my suggestion, now I can talk about it. Sports. Oh gosh, that's one genre I really do not like. But yeah, we'll add it because I'm doing it for you guys. But yeah, I don't want to feel like you're excluded. That's why I'm like, oh, that's sad that you didn't read it, because if we're having a long discussion on it, I don't want to have you feel left out, you know? I care that you're all included in the conversation. But we were talking about it generally. So we've kind of finished, I think, our discussion of it. We were talking a little bit about what our thoughts were, some of the characters we liked, some of the art style, what we enjoyed, etc., and what we kind of want more of when it comes to Blue Period. So, you know, it's not the last chance. Harem as a genre. Yeah, we can probably do harem as well. Oh, we need to do comedy as well as a genre. Not into sports anime, but I can at least try. I think if we give it a chance, there is one sports genre that I could probably recommend. Harem, what's that? Harem means like a romance involving multiple girls with one guy. Typically, it's involved with like comedy or I guess comedy. I'm trying to think of which ones suit it most, but like Monster Musume is technically a harem, because even though he never gets together with any one of them, they all still really like him, like every single one of them. Holy... What? You didn't know? Yeah, add harem. Sure. That's so silly, man. Let's see. We've got... So far, we've got on the list... We've got romance, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, thriller, crime, psychological, sports, comedy. Then let's see if we can have any more. List of common genres in manga. Oh, I guess shonen would have to be one as well, right? Do we add shonen and seinen, or do you guys like not care about that? Here, let's check some of them. Bleh. We got him, boys. The bait did its job. Yeah, this is how you recruit people into reading Slice of Life. You get them to believe that they're going to be reading harem manga all the time and whatnot. But how do you guys feel about adding shonen and seinen as like genres? We've got... Oh, okay. Isekai, I guess, is an entire own genre of its own. I've already written down psychological. We're not adding these specific ones like ecchi, those ones we don't have. Yeah, exactly, shoujo and josei. I didn't want to add those, that's why I don't want to include those. What are those words? Okay, so isekai is where someone gets transported into a new world. The literal, as in transliteration of the term or of the genre, is new world or good new world. Shonen and seinen is like one that's made for boys and one that's made for men. And the big distinction here is whether or not they're like mature rated, so they might feature blood and gore if they're made for men, or usually the tropes of like shonen stories are that there's like some grand adventure that they go on and they want to try and like save the world or something like that. I know what shoujo is, but not josei. Shoujo is the exact same thing, but inverted for girls and for women. The translation is more like another world. Yeah, but isekai and the character or the kanji that's used for it is just like other and good in that sense. Do you watch anime in English dub by any chance? Don't be mean to him! Don't be mean to him! Josei is the more grown-up version. Exactly. It's the seinen equivalent, but for women. Except seinen tends to focus largely on a lot more action and adventure and so on. So it's... yeah, it's a bit different in that sense. It's not exactly the same. It has a lot of different aspects that are more common to it, like tropes and so on. You won't have the exact same thing each time. So, yes, I'm in a new world with Monster. Silent Scythe, you are speaking my language. You are speaking my language. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So based and so true. Let's see. We've got a couple more. No, these are traits. I don't wanna do traits or anything like that. I think it's funny how they've got like subgenres for, or like slang terms for very specific things. Let's see. What? This does not make sense. I click on genre and it gives me a popular list. These do not help me. Let's see. Manga genres. Here we go. We've got martial arts, I guess, is considered one. Yeah, I suppose it could be, but that kind of fits in. Oh, well, I guess they categorize superhero as one. Superhero? Helios, that is a I'm not even gonna read that one aloud. I know exactly what you're trying to do to him, man. I know exactly what you're recommending him. That's while we can potentially agree, I don't. Maybe that is right up Silent Scythe's alley. We'll have to see. But okay, we've got the list so far, and I'll tell you right before I get to the wheel itself. We have got romance, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, thriller, crime, psychological, sports, harem, comedy, isekai, superhero, which I think covers a whole bunch of them, right? I know exactly what you're talking about too. Holy, I just Googled it. Yeah. It's, well, it was prevented from being aired to give an idea of just how sus it is. So it did its job, to put it lightly, and that is very much putting it lightly. Okay, so we're omitting Slice of Life from this list, obviously, because that's the one that we just did. So, oh wait, adventure. Adventure is a genre as well. Adventure. Actually, why not just go onto like an anime or a manga watching / reading sites and see what genres they have for it? Why did I not just do that? That's so silly of me. Okay, so some of the main genres: drama. Drama is also one. Yeah, I think that's actually it. We've got basically everything else. Okay, drama. Drama is going on the list. Drama. Let's see. Have you guys said anything? I'm not gonna read that aloud, but yes, exactly, Silent Side. That's exactly why he's recommending it to you. Because he thinks you'd like it. Which, to be fair, you probably will, all things considered. Let's see. Bookmarked. Yeah, exactly. See? See? We knew. We knew. Adventure and drama. Okay. Let's see. Wheel of names. And then we're going to open this on screen. Where's my browser? Here we go. We've got flip a coin on there. Wheel of names. And now we're going to... Oh gosh. How do I forget how I do this each time. Interact. Here we go. Reject all. And then we're going to expand. Oh, I can't expand this out. I can't zoom in or zoom out. How does this work? Full screen, maybe? Okay, that slightly worked, but I can't change the text because the web browser isn't big enough. That's very weird. Could I not just copy paste all of this? Oh gosh, maybe I go for a different website then. Okay, let's copy this, and then go to spinthewheel.io. Maybe that one works better. And we'll copy this one. It's about guys in another world reviewing, yeah, different species of monster girls. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Is that a job IRL? Nope, it is not. It is not. Let's see. Is this gonna work? Okay, then I interact. Yep, just agree. And here we go. Here we go. This one works, it seems like. Oh gosh, just let me scroll, man. Let me scroll. Okay, here we go. We have... This isn't gonna look great. Oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. This has got way too many ads on it. As soon as you show me 4 ads trying to click on something, I'm leaving your site. Show us the wheel. I'm trying to find a website that actually lets me do this in a reasonable way. Okay, pickerwheel.com. Gosh. Third tries the charm with this. Interact. Question is, will it let me scroll? It lets me scroll. There we go. That's how we know it's going to work. That's how we know it's going to work. Now, it's because I don't want you guys to obviously see any, like, ads or anything on screen. I'm not giving them free marketing. Okay. And transition this onto here. Move this into the middle of the screen. There we go. There we go. And just to make sure, I now need to read your messages just in case I've missed anything. Show us the screen on wheel. Need to make sure you don't just force isekai. I would never do that. Okay. Oh my gosh. Close this. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? We've got everything here. You can double check for yourself. Psychological, crime, thriller, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, adventure, drama, superhero, isekai, comedy, harem, and sports. Petition to remove superhero. Do you guys want to remove superhero? Is there anything else I'm missing? What do you guys want to get rid of? I need to hear from you, Silent Scythe. I need to hear from you, Mr. Brown. I need to hear from you, if there's a lurker. What about Magical Girl? Are there enough Magical Girl stuff? Like, I think anytime I think to Magical Girl, I always think, like, Precure and Madoka Magica. So, add BL? No, I'm not adding BL. Vetoed. Vetoed immediately. No BL. Exactly. We're not... This is a no BL household. We don't do that here. If BL ever gets added, it would not be because of me. It would be because of one of you intervening. So, don't push that onto me. There are some good ones, not gonna lie. The only one I know is Madoka Magica and, like, I don't know, Magical Girl sites and so on. I watched some. Are you sure that's one we want to add? That's just a yes or a no. If you say yes, then I'll add Magical Girl. But I wouldn't be able to suggest anything. If we pick Magical Girl as a category. But otherwise, does that seem good to everyone else? Do we want to pick that? I'm not adding ecchi, by the way. That's not gonna be included on the list. Oh no, I was on the topic of B. Oh, okay. I thought you were yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to add that, so we can just forget about that happening. And, you guys, you guys,
Stay on topic. What are you doing? This isn't. No.
I was forced to watch one anime that I guess could be considered it. It was two guys and one of the... What? Okay. I'm not gonna ask. Just forget it. Can we continue? Why? Why are we doing this? No. No, guys. Does the wheel look fine? Does the wheel look okay? My goodness. They had a kid. This, I don't know if you're meaning Wonder Egg Priority, where they have like this egg that hatches and the two fathers have to raise it. But that one I don't think is BL whatsoever. If that's the one you're meaning. It tried to be wholesome, but it was no. That's a screenshot. Yeah, throw that one in the server. We gotta have a, oh, you know what? In the... We should have a channel for, like, Hall of Shame and Hall of Shame, Hall of Fame. So you guys can screenshot each other and what you say. And then we can just have that, like, just be posted there. That would be so silly, actually. That one's going straight in there, I think. I think that's one of the more sus things that Mr. Brown has said. You know what? Immediate amendment. We're doing that right now. Let's see. Stream clips. Duplicate channel. All of Shame and Fame. There we go. We've got a new channel for it. You can post all of your screenshots there. Post it right there. You know what? Mr. Brown, you've brought this upon yourself. Post it right there.
Put him there.
Oh gosh, is this enemy really gonna be the end of me just because of that? There we go. But should we spin the wheel now? Should we spin the wheel? I'm gonna spin the wheel. If you guys don't tell me, then I'm gonna spin the wheel. So here we go. Spin the wheel. I'm hoping isekai. I'm hoping isekai. Oh! Oh my god! No way! Helios, did you rig this? Helios, did you rig this? Are we joking? How did it get... What? Romance out of how many that we picked? How many? Wait, how many options? What on earth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Out of 14 choices, yours was picked. Oh my gosh. That's nuts. I didn't. I don't believe you. You're lying to me. You must have done something with that, man. There's no way. There's no way. Gosh. Fine. I just have no choice but to believe you then, I guess. I'm genuine. We can roll again? No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Do we want to do romance then? Okay. We can do romance, and then we're gonna have yet another round, I suppose, of voting and everything. But we're gonna have this week continue as per usual, business as usual, because romance is very similar to slice of life a lot of times. Oh, actually, I need to check if this one old manga has an anime. Let's see. Does it have... no, it doesn't. Okay, I need to find another one. Unfortunate. There was one manga that I really wanted to watch, but it also just doesn't have an anime, which makes me sad. Ugh. Not good. Not good. She gave a disgusted look and asked me what kind of people am I chatting with here before laughing at me.
What do you mean?
We're all normal here. We're all normal here. There's nothing that we've done that deserves that kind of judgment. Unless you guys go for the other BS that is love triangle cycling, we will most likely, if not definitely, not do that. So do not worry. I at least refuse to go into love triangle stuff. Wait, why? It's a wholesome BL story in a band setting. What? Gosh. I don't understand either. Yeah, I suppose, you know, it's just the boys doing what boys do, you know? And then also some of the girls that join the stream, which we can't forget about. I mean, then again, Kaya never showers, So I suppose it all loops back on itself. Golden orb. Yeah, we can take this. Pick up the golden orb. Oh, does this one do? Every 3 hit becomes a gold orb and 1 is added. Gosh, that's so good. What an amazing drop. But yeah, I guess that means that now we have to decide on some kind of romance anime for next time. What are you guys thinking? Do you guys think we should, We need to make a vote for after next Sunday when we discuss the finale or the ending of Blue Period. By the way, there's a manhwa called Bromance Book Club. So silly. Maybe we read that. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. That is for sure silly. That's very true. For sure. Yeah, just for the inception? No. We'll have to vote. If you guys vote for it, vote for it, then I will read it. But we're continuing Blue Period until the end of it, or at least the end of the anime. Then we'll do a re-vote for the bi-weekly thing, and we'll see how that goes. And from there, we'll decide. So on next Sunday, we will have decided on a new anime or manga to be watching / reading. Let's force Auger to read that one with us. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like this teaming up on me to try to figure out what I do and do not like, and they're getting me to read it. That's evil. Silent Scythe. I feel like giving you points, I want the ability to add a point tax, and I want the ability to add a vote tax onto you, Silent Scythe, because how on earth, why on earth, what is this against me? Why do I deserve this? My gosh. So it's romance now, right? Yep, it's romance. Where, you can make some suggestions now, or we can, like, talk about it in general. However, the voting itself won't start until, like, Monday-ish, once I make the... Or no, I can post right after this, what we want to do and how that's going to look. But otherwise, generally, we've got all the way up until this Sunday to kind of decide what it is we're consuming. But yes, the next category is romance in such case. Og, is Bakuman still a viable suggestion? Yes, because that is only something that I have watched and not something that others have watched, so you are more than free to choose that. If you really want to, feel free. There is no restriction. You can vote, of course, for... well, you can't vote for your own stuff. That's the only restriction, actually. So I kind of lied. But you get my point. You get my point. I'm always against you if you haven't noticed. Yeah, I have noticed. I've noticed. I don't like it, but I've noticed. That's so silly. 10 additional. Oh, that could be so good though. Could be so good. This one, I think we do this one. How far have you gone? And by the way, I gotta be honest, I've kind of put it on pause. I put it on hiatus since I began reading and slowly consuming, like, Blue Period. Because I think at first, yeah, I've got a tab open here, actually. I've got a tab open here, where I began reading, or, yeah, I began watching the first 2 episodes, then I began reading it. So it's a little bit different, as in, I started, then stopped, then started, then stopped, and I haven't read Bakuman as a result, or watched Bakuman as a result. I also want to suggest something most participants haven't seen / read yet. You are more than welcome to recommend anything your heart desires. Set it on fire, as Burnus would say. I think for romance, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to try find something. I'm gonna have to dig up the realms of what's in my backlog and what I've gone through. I guess I can recommend something that also is fantasy in it, because it's not as if that's exempt from the genre as a whole. In which case, I might recommend The Hero and the Demon Lord. Or actually, Spice and Wolf works as well, because that's a romance. You know, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Gosh, this orb is great. I just wants to suggest Spice and Wolf or Rosario X Vampire. They're good, okay? They're good. Can you blame me? I don't think so. I don't think you can. I don't think you can. You've been talking about those? Yes, because they're like the only things that I remember whenever it comes to the romance genre. And to be honest, I've been seeing a little bit of the Wise Wolf show up on my timeline. I don't know what caused the resurgence of Hollow being on my timeline, but I really, really like Hollow the Wise Wolf. I think she's super cute. Also, Monster Girl. Also, based. Based. So, you know, it's just everything right. Everything that's right with the world. And that's why I'm in 0.3 seconds. So, but Spice and Wolf is slice of life. But it's primarily romance. Let's see. If you Google it, this is how we're going to qualify all of the categories from now on. If you Google it, and on, like, Wikipedia, it says the genre or category of it, that's how we're going to qualify it. I'm now going to Google Spice and Wolf. Let's see. Does Wikipedia have it? It is adventure, fantasy, romance. Well. Actually, wait. I guess I can check on this anime website. If I check Spice and Wolf, because I don't think slice of life is a category on Wikipedia, so maybe this doesn't work. Okay, we'll go on here onto an anime website. It has got the tags. Okay, no, I can't find it. It doesn't have any tags. Oh wait, here we go. Oops. Here we go. Adventure, fantasy, supernatural, drama, slice of life, and romance. It does count. Aug changing the Wikipedia article to force his narrative? How dare you? I would never stoop to such lows. I'm always truthful. I would never alter the Wikipedia page. Just don't check the edit history and don't look for my name. I promise. I promise I would never do something like that. Just whatever you do, do not go into the recently edited page. That's not who I am. You've got to consider this, okay? Hollow is the wisest of wolves, and that means that she's therefore the most intelligent, and therefore it means we need to watch her series to bask in her intelligence, okay? It's just a very heartfelt, heartwarming, cute romance anime that happens to be slice of life and takes place in a fantasy world, okay? Okay? That's what we're doing. So you can't judge me for this. You can't judge me for this. I did not edit it. I did not. What are you guys gonna suggest, though? What are you guys gonna suggest? I say we should all vote for Spice and Wolf. Or, you know what? Everyone should pick my suggestions. We're gonna have 1 week, right, where I'm going to get to make every single one of the decisions. And then you will rue the day that you decided to vote against me. You will rue the day, absolutely. Then you'll feel very silly. Extremely silly, even. Also, why are there so many holes in the pegs here? Is that because those were initially bombs? I guess so. Seems a little bit odd, though. But, oh. Heal. Yeah, I think we take heal. Because I need a lot of healing. Well, I'm tempted to go with whatever the fragrant flower is, since we just talked about it. True. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, Silent Scythe and Mr. Brown. What do you guys feel? What are you guys going to pick for your romance selection, then? Oh my gosh! What the? I'm not really sure what to choose. I need to check. Yeah. If you check... Okay, we need some kind of index. Is there a... Wait, maybe novel updates is what we use? I think novel updates adds too many tags to things, though, because we need to try some way to exclude it. Or alternatively, a sad one, because it seems your whole community enjoys those. We just love misery, okay? We just love misery. Can we go... oh, does Clanad count as romance? It does. But we need some kind of unified site. Is there, like, a manga... an anime database? Maybe we need to check an anime database. Oh, I guess we can use my anime list. Why didn't I think of that? Not Clanad. That's going on the list so fast. Okay, so the way this is going to work is that we're going to be using my anime list, Spice and Wolf, and via that we're going to decide the genres or categories that it belongs to. So this has got adventure, drama, romance, supernatural. Okay, so yeah, we'll go with this one then in that case, because it has both. It has both anime and manga to it, which is why I think that my anime list would probably be the better fit instead of something like Wikipedia. So we'll do that from now on. I'll need a therapist after. That's too bad. That is just too bad, little Helios. It's time. It's time. We're gonna be... Well, he's gonna vote for Clannad, and you know what? I don't mind reading the manga to it. It's been ages since I've watched or even read Clannad. I wouldn't mind so much, I think. I think it would be quite good. Also, why am I healing? Oh, because of this thing, the Infernal Ingot. I give that a 10 out of 10. It was really good. I've heard the visual novel was also really good, but I've not seen it whatsoever, so I don't know if I can attest to that. The anime? Yeah. But do you think you'll read it then because you've watched the anime before, or do you think you're going to watch it again? I think I might try read it because I've already watched it once before. And as much as I'd love to watch the anime again, I should try read them. That's exactly what I was asking! Oh my gosh, I'm in your brain, I'm in your brain. I live in your walls, I live in your walls, I know exactly what you're thinking. I live in your walls. Either way, yeah, I think I'm going to try reading it as well. Though, however, I'm going to be listening to the soundtrack, because my gosh, I love the opening and the ending for Clannad. They're just so good. It's so cute. Just the entire show is just so cute. Get out of my walls! No, they're so comfy in here. I love these walls. You should keep me in here. Please. I've got nowhere else to go. Ow. Got nowhere else to go. I just love your walls so much. I want to be here forever. That's why I wanted to watch the anime again. The music, right? I think, however, what you should do, which is what I'm gonna do, is listen to the soundtrack while reading it, in that case. Okay, unfortunately, Violet Evergarden is only drama according to my anime list. Really? It's not fantasy? Violet Evergarden is not fantasy? I'm so confused. What? I thought it would have been, like, more than just drama. I don't know. Doesn't it take place in, like, an alternate timeline? Oh, what's this? The first time you slime each shot. The first... What? Oh, because it's meant to be evil. Evil, eh? And then we can do... Oh gosh. Oh gosh. We'll do this one. Just refresh everything. We're going for the refresh build. I did read some of Clannad's VN2, but oh wait, we should take off this blue period thing. Whoops. Beep. We're no longer discussing blue period. I did read some of the Clannad VN2, but I finished the anime first, second season 2. Yeah, as did I. I never really got through any of the VN, nor did I ever try to read the VN, though I've heard that it's apparently way better. I just don't know to what extent, right? Like, I've heard it's good, but is it that good? Really? I mean, I don't doubt it because you have more runtime. It's like a little bit of what I hear about, what's it called? What's the one with Beatrix and Butler? Or Battler? That was, Umineko When They Cry? Or was that Higurashi? I always get the two of them confused, but it was either one of those. Either way, I think, those would be... Those I've heard are really good for their VN forms, but I've never actually partaken in that. So, I don't know. I don't know. Otherwise, maybe I just... I'll just read it. I'll just read Clannad again. I hate that one scene at the end of season 2 where Snowfield plays. If I have to hear Snowfield again, I'm gonna have to bawl my eyes out instantly again. I know exactly what you mean, man. I think it's gonna be really difficult to watch it. I know we were joking a little bit with Helios, but my gosh, that one is gonna be tough. It is going to be very tough, I think. Am I mistaken? How is this working? The board will only contain 10, but each refresh only refreshes 8%. Were all of these bombs? I'm so confused what the map looked like earlier. But maybe... Yeah, because that one's gone, but if I refresh it, it's gonna... Yeah, I'm not sure how these pegs are disappearing. I'm very confused. Okay, have you, any of you seen Plastic Memories? Ooh. I recognize Plastic Memories. Let's see. My anime list. No. I think I've seen some of the characters from it, but I don't think I've ever watched it. No. It seems curious, though. You know, maybe reading the manga will be better for myself and my health. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for myself as well. Because it's really quite difficult to try and cope with how strong or difficult Clannad is, you know? It's just a very, very sad show, all in all. Okay, there we go. We've got a whole bunch of different slimes now. And then, all pegs of durable. Ooh. Wait, that could be really good, actually. Let's give all pegs durable. That way we can apply so much slime. I heard about it, but I forgot what it's about. I think maybe I'm mistaking it for something else. I'm trying to recall if maybe I am, but I'm not entirely sure. Ooh, sorry, I need to take a tea break again. But yeah, romance, am I right? Clannad, am I right? We'll have to see if people vote for it. I'm still doing Spice and Wolf. I'm still doing Spice and Wolf. Even if Clannad shows up there, maybe that's the one I vote for. My gosh, what a brutal one. Like, people coming into the AniManga club for the first time and just seeing, oh yeah, we're discussing Clannad today? Oh, jeez. Now that is a choice. For sure. But, I think I'm gonna have to do, like, 4 days of voting or suggestions and then 3 days of, whatchamacallit? I'm trying to figure out the schedule internally for how we're gonna do this club. Because we do have 2 weeks or whatever. However, 2 weeks... Yeah, I guess we have to be really early with it. So we start, but then we can't have a vote. And this is the issue. We can't have a vote on whether or not we continue or not. No, actually, we start one. Then we do a suggestion round. Then we have the first week of going through it. Then we have the second week, which is when we then determine, do we continue watching the rest of the seasons or reading the rest of the manga? And then if that's voted on yes, then we continue and we continue doing those cycles. Okay, I'm working out in my mind. I think I'm getting it now. I'm really feeling it. Let's say it's somewhat futuristic romance, perfectly fitting in with stories like Clannad, Your Lion, April, Anohana, and Angel Beats. Angel Beats was also just one of those like misery shows. Gosh, very, very fun to read all of these. I love them. Yahoo! But I think that probably is a good idea. I'm working out the schedule mentally as we're discussing this and whatnot. Oh, School Days is a romance, but it's also like just misery. Like genuinely just misery, because the main character, I don't think people have played a lot of the actual VN that came out of it initially or originally, but oh, this one turns each orb. Aha, a peg into an orb. Hey. Now I see. But so is book. No, we're not doing that. Okay, no. No. I'm immediately gonna veto that one. If you even think of doing that, we're vetoing it. Bad. Not good. Not good. However, I do think we'll have a schedule. It's going to be a little bit pressed. We're going to have to do 2 days or 4 days here of suggestions and then 3 days of voting, and then Sunday will be the last day, and then we'll decide on stream what the next one we watch is. And I think that gives us in total, like, I know it's 4 and 4 days or 4 and 3 days, but I think it's better to have 4 days of suggestions than 3 days of voting, and then we have the stream as well. I think that's probably the best way of going about it, perhaps. But I don't know. You guys let me know if that schedule makes sense. You know, sometimes I love to listen to music from VNs or anime, even the ones that make me emotional, like Steins Gate, Believe Me, and Gate of Steiner main theme, but I cannot listen to most Clannad OST. I literally can't make myself to hear it. Someone would have to strap me to a chair and force me to listen to it. Lol, mainly Snowfield. It's just that there are a lot of really, really depressing tracks to that. So it is, yeah, very much like a depression overload kind of anime. It's still so good, though. It's still so good. Like, no matter how much you might feel Clannad is one of the most sad animes, or like one of the most gut-wrenching ones out there, it's still so good at what it does. And this is kind of, I don't really want to spoil anything, but I think it and From the New World are like way up there for me in terms of, oh my gosh, this is like such a heartbreaking anime. Just in general, it's so devastating to watch and to see all these characters go through it, but my gosh, is it entertaining. For my bemusement, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. It's really good. It really is! Man, I love Clannad. Clannad just has the whole thing. I feel like it's also a bit of a relic of the past. Not in a bad sense. I mean in the sense that, like, Clannad isn't really known for how old it is, but its art style is very unique because it really dates it to its era of anime, that when it was made and how it looks and whatnot, you know? Like, there's a lot of different anime styles out there, but Clannad, I think, is very distinct for how it looks. I keep doing this to myself. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do I keep using this orb? I hate this orb. I need to stop using it. Oh, yeah? For sure, right? Like, I don't know, at least whenever I think of anime from given eras and whatnot, Clannad ends up being one of those that's, like, very easy to pick out from a certain time of anime history, I think, anyway. And that's kind of why I at least really enjoy it, and I think the art style, as a result, stands out so much more because of when it came out and what emotions it tries to convey, but also the soundtrack. It's one of the few anime that has, like, such an incredibly good soundtrack as well. Not that, like, a lot of anime don't have good soundtracks or just, like, aren't well produced, but I mean so more, like, in terms of how memorable it is, because whenever you think of anime, it's not often that you actually go towards the soundtrack for one, I think, anyway. So, ooh. We'll take this one. We always want more refreshes. Man, maybe I wanted to suggest Little Busters, but it's not romance, it's comedy and drama with a school theme. You can, but it wouldn't be accepted into this one. So it doesn't matter. It wouldn't be accepted into this one. Unfortunate. Also, I've noticed that the way Twitch handles some of the ads and whatnots is that it wants me to... I can only refresh my snoozes for every ad that I don't skip. So I'm not going to be able to skip some of the next ones, it seems. Was thinking that too. Yeah, well, you can have like a couple of them lined up for the next suggestions, but I think at least my suggestion is going to be Spice and Wolf for the next one. And then I assume you, Mr. Brown, are going to pick Clannad for the next one, once we're done with Blue Period. And you're going to suggest Anohana, but it's not listed as romance. Ugh. Yeah, I think we're going to have to be a bit strict, because I can't check every single one. I don't know how much it's going to grow or increase by how many suggestions, you know? But, like, depending on the amount of people involved and interested in it, I might not be able to check every single one, which is why I think going with what my anime list says is probably the best decision that I can make here, you know? Because for comedy, I'd choose something like Asobi Asobase, maybe. Yeah, I'm suggesting Clannad. Asobi Asobase is so good. And also, I think for comedy, I might suggest Saiki Kusuo. Because, my gosh, what a genius masterpiece. I love that anime so much. And honestly, I should read the manga. I might have said something like Gintama, but Gintama is really difficult to, like, get into, I think. So, I'm not entirely sure. My gosh, this is really not going well for me. I think I might die. This orb is so good, though. Please, I need more healing. I need more healing. Get rid of him. It's like 14 damage per turn. This is gonna kill me. Oh, my run is coming to an end. My run is coming to an end. Okay. We're just gonna have to do that. There we go. Full HP. But unfortunately, this gets rid of all the board. Oh no. Gintama needs a lot of references and a lot of episodes to be as good as it can be. Yeah, that's why I think it's really difficult to get into, because there are so many different aspects to Gintama that make it like really difficult as an anime you can just begin reading. Like, you have to consider that you won't really mesh with one episode, but you might mesh with another, and if you mesh with another episode, then like you go a couple of episodes, because they try to do something fairly unique each time, which makes it difficult. So at least I feel like Gintama is a very difficult choice, even if it is a very good anime just overall. At least if you enjoy the type of humor that it gives, you know? So, oh well. Oh my gosh, this orb is crazy powerful. My whole run just survived there because of that. Goodness me. Okay. Gonna go this way. I thought my run would be over. On my anime list, Little Busters is listed as romance, though. Is it? I didn't check. I don't think I've ever watched Little Busters, even though it's supposedly a classic. Little Busters. Let's see. Little Busters Refrain, which I guess is the second one, is... It is a romance. It is a romance. Oh, but it's Refrain? Yeah, I didn't see the romance tag. Let's check. Refrain, the second season. That would be really silly. Like, oh yeah, we need to begin on the second season because it doesn't count. Little Busters. The second season is a romance. The first season is not. Interesting. I guess that might spoil something, that like a character gets together with another character and then it becomes romance, but, well, at least now we know. I feel like maybe that's considering, oh, maybe if we consider the fact that like a second season has a different tag, maybe then we're allowed to pick. But then some really long-running anime basically goes over every single genre. It is quite tough deciding on that. I never saw Refrain, but also not even the first anime. Lol, I finished the whole VN, only saw one episode of the anime. I've not watched it at all, so I wouldn't know. Also, we're gonna snooze. The last time I'm gonna be able to snooze this stream, but also because we're finishing up soon. Slime. Oh, okay. We can do more slimes. But wait, I've got a little bit left. So heal 1. Gonna remove. Which one do we remove? Transforms into a random. Oh, okay. Oh wait, we can get rid of the orb. There we go. Problem solved. Then we can do this one, and we can do this one. And we can do this one. And we can do this one. Yep. Nice. I only saw one episode of the anime. I really love the VN. It's so funny. I don't know what it's even about. What is Little Busters about? Or what makes it so appealing to you in that case, then, Mr. Brown? I'm very curious. Man, I'm so looking forward to voting Spice and Wolf and every single one of you agreeing with my decision and deciding to watch it with me, you know? Not that I have, like, supreme power or anything, but, you know, I think we should consider that it's probably one of the best anime of all time, you know? You know what I'm saying? Oh, gosh. I hope this isn't just the run that ends me. This one, I really need to get more pieces for the Assemble. It's a really cool weapon, though. And just as a heads up, we will be, or I will be, I suppose. I was gonna say we will be ending stream, but I will be ending stream. I think rolling a wheel is always one of the most fun parts in any stream at any point in time. It's just such a fun thing to do, you know? Okay, there we go. Now I've also taken a bunch of damage. Let's no, we don't care about that. Just upgrade this a whole bunch of times. Can I suggest a movie too? It's only 45 minutes. If you really want to suggest a movie as one of the suggestions, then I don't mind. I think the only reason why I would say maybe is because, is there a manga to it? Like, that's the only conditional that I would require for this. Set it on fire. It needs to have a manga equivalent for people to read if we're going to be, like, adhering to the whole AniManga club idea, you know? So long as that's true, I do not mind whatsoever. Because I think we can have a couple of exceptions here and there. Plus, if we really want something short for just a week to try and fill out, then I don't see why not. The funny characters, story is at first just a slice of life, but there's dramatic scenes for every girl's route. There are fighting events in between the story where randomly the cast fights each other with a randomized weapon, and the stupid baseball minigame that doesn't play like normal baseball. It's really hard to explain. That sounds really confusing. Really confusing for that. And the twist in the true ending was interesting. I don't know, anytime I feel like I hear about some romance animes or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, there's a true ending to this, and this is actually really messed up. I'm like, wait, what on earth happens in this for this to happen? Like, for this to be so sad, or for people to describe it that way? Because that's how Clannad is described as well, right? It's like, oh, it's this really nice slice of life anime that people enjoy and whatnot, you know? But then you realize, oh, it's actually a really evil anime or really evil show as well, because of how much stuff happens in it, and because of how much of a sad story it is. I don't know, it's just deceptively kind on one's feelings until you actually watch through the whole thing. Or even the visual novel, because when I played through the visual novel of School Days, it was not as bad as the anime was, both in terms of like being bad for what it's trying to say and what it's trying to do, but also because the anime makes the main character pick the worst options he could possibly pick, which I really wasn't fond of. So yeah, to be honest, it has also been a while since I read Little Busters. I want to reread it at some point again. Yeah, feel free to just like use the AniManga Club as an excuse to rewatch or do something that you haven't in a while. Like, if you've got something on your backlog, we all want to be a part of your backlog, you know? We all want to watch what's on it. We want to know what's going on. So, how am I getting this 0.5 every single time? I've landed in this one. Ooh, this game makes me mad. Well, yeah, I can just score a whole bunch of hits. There we go, that's one of them. They keep gaining strength, though, which is really bad. Get a whole bunch of poison going on. At least the fire doesn't really stop me here because I'm just chilling. So, go lightning as well. Lightning. Oh, and barely anything. My gosh, I think we need to go for the purple one because otherwise that one's gonna help kill me. Oh, and then we've got an ad break coming up soon as well. I think I'm dead. Oh gosh. Oh, we can heal. There we go. This is gonna save my run. Watch this. Never mind. Oh no. 1, 2. I think I've lost. Oh wait. Oh wait. No, I'm gonna survive. Unless it does. No, never mind. It increased in damage. That, however, is it. That will... Okay, let's move to the idle screen. I lost the run, but man, did I get close. Man, did I get close. Okay, I'm gonna go with plastic memories. Feel free to, since it's near the end now. I'm gonna go, lol, take care. I'm just about to end the stream. We've got, like, what, 3 minutes? Lol, yeah, it's the end now. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's because also the ad break is supposedly coming up in 3 minutes, so I'm gonna try and end it in that time. So, today, we discussed a lot of Blue Period. This week, we're continuing Blue Period. We're continuing up until the end of the season, and then by the end of Sunday's stream next week, or this upcoming Sunday, we'll have decided and are watching something new. We're going to spend, I think, the first 3 to 4 days, I'll see how many people participate in the votes for suggestions, until we decide on what it is we want to do. Then we're going to spend 3 to 4 days on the actual votes. And then on Sunday's stream, when we're discussing Blue Period, that will be your final chance to vote. However, that is going to be basically it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully I see you guys tomorrow with some more Resident Evil 2. And also, don't forget to watch or read Blue Period. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!